Hello and welcome to jasonnewland.com. My name's Jason Newland and welcome to Q and A Friday. Ooh. Yep. It's that time again. It's Q&A Friday. It's Friday the 2nd of May 2025. I've just been out, just took Vinny out, and I have to close the window so I don't get broken into. And there's a lot of people in the garden. There's a few squeaky ones, so I've kind of kept the window closed. And it's stuffy in here. I need some air, man. Anyway. That's me moaning. So my website is jasonnewland.com. It's a good place to go if you've already looked at everything else on the internet. There's lots of other things more interesting to look at, but I'm not selling it, am I? All my latest recordings are on there. I just came over do you know with Facebook, they give you like memories from the past. So there's a memory from 4 years ago, and in it I'm just talking. I'm waiting at a bus stop, or I'm outside somewhere. I might have just been in the park or in the garden maybe, and I was talking about, and it was the 1st of May. And I was talking about how I was getting between 9 and 11,000 downloads a day. 9 and 11,000 downloads a day, man. So I was getting 300,000 a day now, or 300,000 a month. And now I'm probably getting, I don't know, 75,000, 80,000. It's like, what's happened? It's almost like I've got worse. I've become worse over time. Maybe I have. I don't know. It's very strange. Very, 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 very strange. I know I talk about, I had lots of downloads, I was getting, the stats and all that stuff from the past, and sometimes I even think that I may be making it up myself. But on Spreaker, my total downloads since I started in 2018 with Spreaker is 15,186,676. Total live plays 42. And total downloads this month, or last 30 days, or actually should I say last month 53,169. Last 30 days, 52,386. The year so far, or the last 12 months, 228,243. That's on Spreaker. Now, admittedly, last May, June, July, August, most of September, most of October, I didn't really I wasn't on Spreaker much. So it's really only from November to April. But still, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's still, 50,000 a month, 500, 600,000 a year. Probably, now, it would be. So I wonder if I can get it back up to what it was. I think one of the things is, I'm really not very prevalent on Spotify. And I've also got 2 SoundCloud accounts, which I think I might just need to get rid of. I think that's one of the problems I've got. So what I might do is get rid of the SoundCloud accounts so that people pretty much have got Spreaker or wherever the Spreaker podcast is, or my website, because I don't know, SoundCloud seems to take people. I'm a bit confused where SoundCloud is. I know where SoundCloud is, but what places they're coming from, as in, I know what I mean when I'm saying this. I don't know if they're coming, I mean, some of them are coming from SoundCloud, I guess, themselves. But then there's a lot of real dodgy SoundCloud accounts. So I'll give you an example, yeah? I'm gonna read some of the messages. Oh, did I say only listen when you can safely close your eyes? I do also have a Facebook group, Jason Newland's Boring Group. You can join if you want, and I sold that, didn't I? And a YouTube channel that hardly anyone listens to. I'm really selling everything today. Ever since I started posting making my YouTube, my podcast, the stats have kind of gone a bit. And I've got 1,547 subscribers. Analytics. I've had 0 subscribers in the last 28 days, according to this. Which is 11 less than usual. So I literally had no subscribers in the whole of the last 30 days. 2,600 views, 1,100 hours watched or listened, whatever you want to call it, but it's just I don't know what to do. It's almost a bit pointless having it, really. Unless I just go back to making videos, like proper videos, and then people watch them again. Oh dear. So, here's some of the messages I get from my SoundCloud. Here we go. Okay, so the one is from Screaming Gnome, so that's actually a listener. Are you creating a separate SoundCloud for relax and sleep hypnosis daily and deep sleep whisper hypnosis? I'm dying over here, not being able to listen all night anymore. My recordings are on my Spreaker. It can't only, and on my website, so you don't really. I'm just thinking. I mean, I can't speak for people that, and thank you for listening. Anyway, anyone that listens. But my website should be fine. So what I might do is get rid of SoundClouds. But here's all these things, okay? Deleted user. Check out my bio to find a link to my service. Let's work together to make your music heard far and wide. Stay tuned and keep making magic. Okay, so that's someone that's deleted. Probably didn't know what I was doing. So this is another person, Michael Dodge. Good name, Dodge. I think I can help you with your track music 922. Building websites. Let me buy your to sleep. Jason Newland, 10th of November 2022. On a radio for the next 7 days. A number of honest, guaranteed radio airplays, and your track will be played a lot more. And additionally, we support your SoundCloud profile, delivering quality music marketing. Get your music heard. I mean, they clearly haven't listened to what I do, because I don't make music. Here's another one. Cozy Sunday. Beyond that, okay, I think I can. I don't do accents. I think I can help you with your track. Jason Sings, Ticket to Ride, Beatles cover, 1996, on a radio for the next 7 days. It's another one. I can target honest, guaranteed radio airplays. The next one, shirtless priests. My blog features artists like you. We can post your track. No music, 10 hours, 1257 Q&A Friday. Let me bore you to sleep, 20th December 2024, on our hot category. Okay, so I don't think many people would be interested if they were listening on a music radio show and I popped up. The Groupie Dolls is another one. Specialising in supporting artists and bands, I can play your track. No music, 10 hours, 125 said, whatever, December 24, on a radio for the next 7 days. I'm thinking, there's a little bit of a copy here. Jerry Love. Okay, it's got two girls kissing. That's. I'm not saying that's just the image, nothing to do with anything else. I wonder if I can make that image bigger. Yep. Right. I've seen this message loads of times, but I've never read it. Okay, here we go. I just came across your track on SoundCloud and I'm really loving the vibe and the creativity in your music. It's incredibly inspiring. Are you working on any new tracks or projects at the moment? So these just spam, basically, from people that don't even know what I do. Dalian Luke. This is Dalian Luke. Okay. Congratulations on your new release. I'm Dalian Luke, a passionate music producer dedicated to helping artists like you amplify their reach and connect with the right audience. If you're ready to boost your streams, grow your fan base and elevate your visibility, let's chat about how we can make your music shine even brighter. As soon as I hear the word music, I realise they haven't listened to anything I do. So how do I get rid of this? I'm going to delete. How do I delete? Delete account. Delete account. Too much spam. Okay. Delete my account. Yes. So let's delete that. You deleted your account. It'll be deleted shortly. Okay, got it. Got rid of that one. There you go. That was quick, wasn't it? So what's the other SoundCloud one I'm going to get rid of? So I sign in. That'll save me £20 a month anyway, so that's good. Okay. It's not like the recordings aren't available other places. They are. They really are. Wonder how much other stuff I can delete while I'm talking to you here. I mean, it's a little bit sad deleting these, but you know what? Especially as, you know, on the SoundCloud, I'm getting probably 500 to 600 a day between the two of them. And the stats between the two of them, there's like probably about 3.5 million downloads since 2003. But people would be listening anyway, wouldn't they? Well, maybe not. Oh well. Too much spam. Yes, delete my account. Delete my account. Okay, got it. So both the SoundCloud accounts have gone. So I won't be going back on SoundCloud ever again. I sometimes wish I just had one podcast. I do have one main podcast, which is the one on Spreaker, it's the one that you see on my website when you go there. Hypnosis for Sleeping Deeply. That's been my main podcast for Well, there's 1,264 episodes. So I don't know how long ago that was I started that one. It's a while ago. It's definitely a while ago. Let's have a look. Let's go back. Probably 2023, I reckon. Maybe, I reckon about October 2023. But I might be wrong, because I lost all those podcasts, didn't I? Because of the music. And then because I couldn't get rid of the stuff quick enough. And then I just lost the podcasts. But now, Spreaker allows background music, but only if it's their own background music. So, you know, I mean, really, I have to probably be a little bit careful, copyright, that I don't sing songs and stuff myself. But fortunately, they never know what I'm singing, so I guess, yeah, it's a shame. My tummy's gurgling. So today, wow, got boxing on tonight and tomorrow night. So that's a huge event on both nights. And tonight's probably a bigger event in the sense of it's 3 huge fights between big fighters, like very famous American fighters. But it's going to be in Times Square, October 2024. So it's October last year. Blimey. October last year. That's interesting. So since October, 111,905. This is on the main podcast. Ah. Sources. Where's the sources? Sources. 1,491 of them are from my website. The website is growing. Like last month, I had 26,393 Apple Podcast downloads from this podcast, 753 from Podcast Addict, and 610 from jasonnewland.com, which is pretty good, to be fair. I mean, if I go to last month's sources, last month, overall, last month, 1,222. Yeah. How many this month? This month so far, it's like 2 days, isn't it? Not many. Today so far, 11. Yesterday, 26. That's on my website. So, SoundCloud's now gone. Wow. Yeah. Oh, I know this is a Q&A Friday, but I'll just go quickly through what's happened today. I was waiting for a Universal Credit to call me because they're changing over my benefits. I got the letter yesterday, and instead of procrastinating, which is my natural tendency, especially with things like that, I thought I'd just do it now. I thought I'd reward myself by going to the toilet. So I was like, I'll do this, and yeah, got it done. The one thing I am fairly pretty, I don't want to say good, I'm alright at is online stuff. It's, if you give me a form that I have to fill in, like a paper form, I need help with that. I really need help with that. If it's a form online that I can just click yes, no, yes, no, yes, no, yes, no, it doesn't mean that I'll get it right, but I will definitely finish it. But I might get some stuff wrong. And so I have to keep going over it over and over again until I kind of feel mildly confident that it's finished and it's complete and I've ticked correctly. But give me a paper form and I'm like, oh no. Even I remember being on courses, and at the end of the course, like in the past, hypnosis courses and stuff, and they say, oh, there's a form, if you can just fill that in and just let us know how you felt about the tutor. Like, no. I don't fill forms in. It's not, it wasn't even like being rude. I mean, I probably said it rude because I thought it'd be funny, but I'd just, if you put a form in front of me, even if it's, I mean, I remember during COVID, and I had it was the second year of COVID, and I was at the airport, and I had to fill in a form, and it was for the COVID thing, and I couldn't do it. It's like I had to have someone come and do it for me. They actually asked me the questions, and they filled it in for me because my brain just went blip. And the same thing as when I applied to go to university, I went to the institute, I went to the Colchester, the place where I was going, and I had to fill this, I think it was 2 forms. One was for the student loan and one was for the course, I think. I can't remember. It was a lot of forms. And this lady was so patient. She just sat down for about an hour with me and went through it. I'd still be doing it now, I think. Just nah. If it's online, I don't know why, but if it's on a screen, I'm a little bit more susceptible to being able to complete it. So anyway, she phoned this lady phoned me up from the what is it? Not USB. It's not the United Nations. Credit. I'm going to say credit union, Universal Credit. So Universal Credit is. So they're stopping my housing, they're stopping everything basically, and then they're swapping it over to a different system. What she needed to do, this lady, she was really nice on the phone. She needed to check my identification. Now, I had to stop myself from saying, well, why have you been, because it's still the same department as who's been paying me. So I said, well, why have you been paying me for the last 10 years or 11 years if you don't know who I am? And at no point, I didn't say that because it's, I wanted to, it might not come across as friendly. Not once did they ask my national insurance number, which I found a bit weird, to be honest, because nobody that I know, even my closest relatives or friends or whatever, would know what my national insurance number is. None of them. I've got it etched in my brain, probably because I've had so many different jobs that I had to write it down hundreds of times for job interviews and stuff like that, that it's just etched in my brain, and signing on multiple times and whatever over the years. So it's they didn't ask for that for some reason. But what she asked for is, said, well, I need to go and check your identity before we can put this process through. I said, okay. They said, if we can't do it on the phone, you'll need to come in. And I said, I hope you can do it on the phone because I can't go out. I said, I literally just spent £21 getting a taxi to go and collect my prescription for me because I can't face going out. And she was like, oh, okay. And I was saying to her, like, I can get as far as the park. I'm all right with the park. That's across the road for me. It's a little park. If I'm with Vinny, I don't go out without Vinny. And yeah, I don't know. That's why I don't call myself a therapist. Because I've got no position to, really, have I? What do they call it? The wounded healer. Blimey. Yeah, so anyway, she said, okay, well, hopefully we can do it on the phone. I'm trying to remember what question she asked me. Oh, she asked me my security questions, which I remembered. It was like, what was your, one was like, the surname of your best friend. So, okay, wow, okay. So I had that down there, so I remembered it. The 3 questions I think I was asked was, oh yeah, how much am I getting paid? Yeah, how much am I getting paid? How much is my money that I get every week? Or it's supposed to be, it's every 2 weeks, but how much is it weekly? So I said, wait a sec, are you okay for me to, can I go and look in a drawer and get the paperwork, or is cheating not allowed? She said, no, it's not really cheating, it's not a test. I said, okay. So I went and got that. So I told her how much it was, because luckily I had those details in front of me. Well, they had them all like bunched together. They weren't in front of me because they were in the kitchen, but then they were in front of me because I went into the kitchen. I think I might have brought them out into the living room, I think. But I did have to go back into the kitchen again because I needed to find something else. So she says, how much you get? I said, okay, it's that. Are you getting anything else? I said, yep. And I told her what I was getting. Okay. First she said, what are you getting? I said, I'm getting this, this, this. Then she said, how much is your rent? Oh, okay, hold on, and I had to check that. So I looked that up. And then one of the other questions was, oh yeah, she needed my address, my last address before moving in here, which was 10 years ago. 10 years ago. I was supposed to remember the address. And I said, wow, how the heck am I supposed to remember that? And I said, wait a minute, I think I might have something in the drawer with that address on, because I remember in around November finding some paperwork from 2013, and I thought, I think it's still in the kitchen, but it's in a folder. So I go into the kitchen. I said, I'm going to take you back into the kitchen. She said, you don't have to tell me where you're going. I mean, I can't see, can I? I said, really? I'm sorry to hear that. She said, no, I mean, I can't see what you're doing. I said, oh, okay. And I took her into the kitchen. Well, I didn't take her into the kitchen, but I took the phone into the kitchen. Found the form, the letter. I couldn't believe it. Like, wow. Because I was so hoping that I could just get it done on the phone rather than have to go in. And she said, yeah. I said, if I passed, she said, I told you it's not an exam. I said, no, but it's still, you have to check if I've got it right. And she said, okay, well, I'll just have to go through this. I think she had one more question. I can't actually remember what that one was. It might have been, oh yeah, it was, which benefit did you get first? So she asked me what benefits I got. Then she asked me my last address before this, and then what was the benefit I got first out of the 2 different benefits. And I was thinking, I don't know. And then I was trying, because this is like 2013 or 2014, probably actually. So I'm just like, okay, it's 11 years ago. Let me think. And I thought, okay, the logical thing was one before the air. It would be that one first, then that one was after. But it was roughly the same time, but one was slightly before the other one. And she put that down, and yeah, I passed with flying colours. I graduated, you may say. And then she went through the process saying that it's going to take about a month to process. You know, I get one more payment, I think, and then it'll be so it's a little bit up in the air about when my payments will be. And then I said, well, I've got a question for you. She said, what's that? I said, can I ask for you to pay my rent? Because I get housing benefit at the moment, and it gets paid directly into the housing. So can you ask me to, because the housing benefit stops, so can you, instead of giving me the money once a month, can you send that money directly to the housing, to the landlord? And she said, I can put it down. She said, why? I said, it's better. I have direct debits, and it's just much easier to manage the finances if I know that it's all going out. Because, you know, right from an early age, you know, leaving school and stuff, I always had a focus really was pay rent first, and then, well, back in the days when I just lived in a house, or lived in a room, pay rent, buy food. Now it's pay rent, pay bills, buy food. So I never had bills before, really. I had the occasional electric meter, but I never had council tax or electric gas, like, you know, big old bill and all that stuff. Water rates and etc. So, and she said, that's a lot of information. I said, I know, I'm just letting you know that I like to. She said, I didn't really need your history. I was like, fair enough. And I just like, okay, well, I'm doing my best to try and explain. She said, okay. So what was I going to say? She said, well, she can ask them, but it would help if I also contacted the council as well, the rent place, housing rent place. So I said, okay, good. And she said, are you getting discount on your council tax? And I said, yeah, but I don't really know how that all works. She said, well, from now on, you won't be getting discount on your council tax. You're going to have to reapply for it. Now, I know I automatically get 25% off because I'm a single person living in a place. But I also get a discount because of disability and stuff, or being on benefits. So what I've done, I had those two things to do. I had to phone up the council, speak to the council tax people, which I found out was a different department, because I did phone up council up and request to be able to have the money sent to them directly, monthly, monthly, and they seemed okay with it. She said, I'll just put it on the system and my supervisor will look at it and hopefully that'll all go through. I also had to phone them anyway to tell them that the rent was going to stop being paid by housing benefit. That's a lot. I was like, oh, all this stuff. And before I finished the call with the Universal Credit, I keep forgetting the name of it, she said to me, would it be better if you got paid every fortnight? I said, yeah, because that's what I've been paid recently. You know, it's always been every fortnight. To get paid once a month is... I struggled with that when I was working, to be honest. Once a month. There was always at least 1 week where I was just living on dripping. Living on dripping and lard and crackers. No, not quite that bad, but now I don't know whether they're going to be able to do that or not, but I did. She's requested it. So I just got. I think it kicks in a month's time. So it'll be in June when that starts. So I think it's now done. I hope it's now done. That was it. I thought I'd keep you updated on that. So, Q&A Friday. Eventually, the reason why I'm supposed to be doing this recording. Just had a missed phone call from someone. Don't know what they want. 7:39. They don't need to be calling me at that time of the night. There's no reason for that. I wonder. Let's have a look. I'm slightly intrigued as what they want. Oh, so I just had a nice little interruption from my neighbour. I just had to call her back because she phoned me twice. This is a neighbour around the corner, and since my friend left, as it was, she was making me dinners once a week for about a year. So, you know, I make it important to make sure that I'm there for her if she needs anything. So I just needed to pop round and have a chat with her. But that's all good. It's all sorted. Dibbity-doo-dee-doo-doo-doo. Do need to order some food. It's ridiculous. I really do. I do. Oh, excuse me. Excuse me for my burpees. Just having a quick look what I need to order. Don't need black bags. Cleaning one. I'll get another one of them. Febreze. Get some of them. Don't need any water. Got loads of water. Oh yeah, some of them. I think that's it. I think that's pretty much everything. Is there anything else? Oh, I've accidentally pressed cornettos. Didn't mean to, but I'm going to have to eat it now when they come through. Damn it. Oh, I hate it when that happens. What else is there? I want to get the things that Vinny likes to eat, but I can't seem to find them anywhere. And you're right, I could have done this without being on doing a recording, couldn't I? I could have done this separate. Unless those things I got from, I might have got them from a different delivery. Dog, TRE. Oops. Dog. Okay, let's have a look. Oh, yeah, £3.20. He loves them, but £3.20. That's a lot. What other things? What are those sausages? Sausages, but they're kind of cheap rubbery ones. If I put rubbery ones, I wonder if it will come up with the rubbery sausages. No. It's nappies. No, it's probably not really. Farley's rusks. I'm going to buy some Farley's rusks. I love Farley's rusks. Farley's rusks. Farley's rusks. Reduce sugar. Okay, I've got to kind of accept that's the way things are now for me. I need to be a little bit more careful. Farley's rusks. Oh no, I want to get that original baby food. That's what I'm going to get. So if I'll get rid of that one. Delete it. I'm trying to get rid of it. Won't let me get rid of it. Right, let's have a look. I think that's everything. Sizzlers. I might need, okay, get a couple of more milks. That should do the job. It's ridiculous. It's so expensive. Everything's so expensive, man. So just that £82.49 just for a few little bits. I've not listed everything I put on there because that would be boring, but wow. Okay. Right, so that's done. I've got to put my date of birth in now. 26. Everything's about proving ID now, isn't it? Got to give ID. But then, to be fair, I don't really want them just someone coming up to them in the street and saying, "Oh, yeah, that's for me. I'll take that." So yeah. So Q&A Friday. An hour into it, I can now do the actual Q&A Friday bit, which is, you know, a little bit low, a little bit late, but I've got the questions. Here we go. I've got some other questions as well, so what I'll do, I'll start off with the questions that I got from my website, otherwise I might forget them, and then I'll move on to... So yeah, to the ones on Facebook. So new contact form, where is it? So it's from Mary. Hello again, 2 questions. When are you going to get a new kitchen and bathroom? And number 2, have you and Vinny's mum fallen out as you don't mention her anymore? The second one's a complicated one, but I just don't really see her anymore. I'm going to leave it at that, okay? I'm not going to go into details on that one. The first question, when are you going to get a new kitchen and bathroom? Well. I don't think I'm getting anything. I've got 3 neighbours that have got new kitchens. 3 neighbours. Not in this building, but 2 neighbours in this building. There's 6 flats. 2 neighbours in this building have got new kitchens. And the neighbour downstairs is having a bathroom refitted. And now I just found out my neighbour opposite me is having his bathroom. He was getting measured up yesterday, so he's got a new bathroom coming. He's also, my neighbour opposite me, he's got new windows being put in a few months. And as far as I'm aware, I ain't getting nothing. I'm getting no new windows, no new bathroom, no new kitchen. So I don't really know how it works. Maybe because I've lived here for 10 years, maybe the kitchen was fairly new when I moved in. I think they have like a 25-year period, so they replace things every 25 years or something. So the kitchen might have only been there for 15 years when I moved in. So it's not due, or 12 years, or I don't know. So it's not due to be redone. I had someone come round and look at everything, and but yeah, nothing came of it. So if they want to do it, brilliant. I welcome any kind of new things to the building or to my flat. They want to, if they're willing to put a new kitchen in or new bathroom, new windows, I mean, that'd be brilliant. All 3 of those things would be phenomenal. But I'm not going to really. I'm not going to expect it, because there's nothing being said that is coming. So, but then, to be fair, my neighbour opposite he only found out about it yesterday, about the bathroom, So he had his new kitchen put in a couple of weeks. It got finished was it last week? I think it got finished. So I don't really genuinely, I don't know. So that's my answer for that, I'm afraid. That's all it is. There may be, I might miss some questions because unfortunately if they're not all in one place I'd get a little bit muddled up. But I hope that I've Mary, I know that I haven't really gone into in depth with that, but at the moment I really don't know is the honest answer. Ali asks, what are your thoughts on aliens? Now that's random. Deep. I don't think anything I say is going to sound original, but I'll say it anyway. And I don't know how much my view has been affected by other people's views that I've heard. And, you know, I don't really want to regurgitate what other people have said, but I might kind of be doing that. First of all, I've always kind of thought that I was an alien. By the way, when you say aliens, you're talking about spacecrafts and stuff, not illegals. Because you never know these days. I mean, I'm going to focus on spacecraft aliens from other planets. My first experience of aliens, that is this not going anywhere weird, don't worry. There was a TV show, probably early 80s, and I think it was called The Boy from Space, and it's for kids. I have kind of mentioned it before, The Boy from Space. I'm pretty sure it is TV show. Yeah, The Boy from Space, 1980. Absolutely terrifying. Like, considering I was 9 years old. Considering I was 9 years old at the time, it was frightening for me. And they didn't talk. They made a squeaky sound. And they looked very weird. But they looked human, but very pasty and very... yeah, and there was a bloke that was looking for this boy. And scary, really, yeah. So that freaked me out. But at the time, and again, probably about 1980, maybe 81, I showed an interest in the stars. I showed an interest in space. So I got a telescope for my birthday or for Christmas. And I know it's exciting. However, and I was reading books and I was getting new books. I love the smell of new books. Oh, I love the smell of the print. Especially some of them old textbooks. Well, new textbooks, but just all them pictures of space. I'm not sure if I even understood 5% of what I was reading. But I read it anyway. It was super advanced and I was just a little kid. But I was reading it. You know, wormholes, black holes, time travel or time distortion, you know, kinds of weird things, exploding suns, whatever. So I was interested, but it was quite meditative for me to be reading stuff like that. I don't know why. Maybe by reading, I mean, I don't know, reading something I didn't understand. Or maybe I felt I did understand it at the time. I don't remember. It's weird, but it got to a point where every birthday and Christmas for about 3 years, I was getting stuff about space and astronomy when I kind of lost interest in it. Or maybe I was 9, 10, 11, 12, those kind of years. And I mean, it was a really good telescope. I could even look at the sun through the lens. I remember my dad saying, you can look at the sun, you know, you can go look at the sun. And I had to say, wait, Dad, I need to put the filter in first. I said, where's the filter gone? I said, don't worry about it. And then he ran off laughing and it fell out of his pocket. He was trying to get me to look directly into the sun with a telescope. I couldn't believe it. He was a proper joker. And one thing I found very fascinating was there was this, I used to focus on the moon. So I get it, because it was on a tripod. It was a good telescope, really. It was Tasco or Tascom. Good telescope. It was on a tripod that had a little telescope attached to it so you could kind of aim. And telescopic lens, if you want to call it that. And yeah, it was a really good present, and it weren't cheap. Guarantee that. It was a good present. And I used to focus on the moon, because we're in my bedroom, a really good picture of the sky, really good image, like a good visual of the sky at night. Well, during the day as well, but couldn't really use a telescope during the day. Unless, of course, my neighbour was sunbathing. Let's move on. So I used to focus it on around the moon. I'd go and get undressed and change into my pyjamas. And by the time I'd changed into my pyjamas, the moon had moved out of the telescope. And I couldn't believe how quickly the moon moved. I mean, my brother kept saying, are you sure it's just not how slowly you get undressed and dressed? Which he kind of did have a point. I mean, I was pretty slow. I used to walk home from junior school. I'd leave at, was it 3:30 in the afternoon? I'd get home about 5:30, 4:45, 5, 5:30. Honestly, I would do what I would class now as walking meditation. But I didn't really understand meditation other than what I learned from watching Kung Fu. When I was like the TV show Kung Fu, because he used to meditate. But I needed to have that rest from being around people, because to be around all those kids and then go straight into another house, you know, house full of 3 kids and 2 adults, it was a little bit too much for me. So I needed that break to just wind down and then almost kind of prepare for the onslaught when I got home and all the noise and claptrap and whatever. So I mean, I was quite happy to go to bed, to be fair, when my bedtime was 8 o'clock, or because I used to have to go to bed, but I was allowed to read, so it wasn't like a big thing. Sometimes I'd go to bed early so I could just sit in bed reading. It was nice. Yeah, it was nice. I haven't done that for a while. Reading in bed. I don't know if I could do a whole page without falling asleep. That's why I don't read when I'm driving anymore. In case I fall asleep. Oh my goodness, that's silly. You shouldn't read when you're driving. He's reading a book while he's driving, or reading a paper. Come on, it's just ridiculous. So that TV show freaked me out. And of course we had E.T. E.T. was cute though, so E.T. was funny and not scary or anything. I mean, it could have been. I could have so easily turned that into a horror movie. And then probably about 81, yeah, I think it was 1981, I got a book about UFOs from one of my relatives, and I read it, and it's fascinating stuff. It was all about abductions and stuff, based on a real story, apparently. And I found it really interesting. And I lost interest in the stars or the moon or the sun or all the like astronomical things going on in space. I still find it interesting, but I became more interested in spaceships, especially with like the Alien movies, and or the first Alien movie, which I think was late 70s. And there was so many Alien movies in the early 80s, like space movies. I mean, as well as Star Trek, the movies were coming out. You had Star Wars in the late 70s, all that stuff. Superman was from space, wasn't he? So there's so many alien stuff was on. Alien as well, the Alien movie. So I found it interesting, and I just loved the idea of spotting a UFO. So what I did is I started looking for them. And I remember once, the one UFO I saw, I was kind of determined. I thought, this is going to be it. And I was with my friend. We were both there. We were looking, and we saw this UFO hovering at the bottom of the garden. This spaceship with all these lights. I was like, wow. I went and called my dad. Dad, there's a UFO at the bottom of the garden. He came in, because he was in the other room. He said, okay. He came in. He said, that's the factory. It's just a factory with the lights on. It's like, oh. I never noticed it before. There was this big factory at the end of the garden. It was the back of the factory, but it had loads of windows and stuff. I hadn't noticed it. He said, how could you not notice it? It's like 50 foot, 60 foot high, or 100 foot high. Like, it's a really big old wall, well, building. And I just, don't know, didn't notice it. Not my fault. They knocked it down. Not my parents. Whoever, I think they turned it into housing or something. But I really thought I discovered a spaceship. Part of me was thinking, why did it come to my garden? It was a little bit of like, oh. And why are there people outside with white coats on and tractors and lorries coming and going? Why is there a big sign that says this is a factory on it? I don't know. But it was, I was quite interested in, what was the question again? Aliens. Well, the next thing I say is just going to be so regurgitated, really. It seems, again, I say this is what I believe, but at the same time it's been said by millions of people probably. And if I want to say something original, I'll probably say something like, but that probably wouldn't help. I think, I reckon that it's ridiculous, the idea that this would be the only planet. Well, we know it's not the only planet with life. It's just, I think when we look for life, we want it to be in some kind of humanoid form, don't we? That's kind of what we're looking for. Something with legs, something with a mouth and a face. Loads of planets. So everything is life, isn't it? Every particle is life. This is all energy, it's life. So technically the whole universe is alive. So every planet, every star, everything is alive. It's all alive. It's all just energy. But if we move away from that, you know, something with a face. I mean, they've found stuff, haven't they, on Mars or whatever, and proof that there was life, and there used to be water. So anywhere there used to be water, then there's a good chance that there was life. Apparently, there's at least one planet that's, I think it's a third bigger than this planet, and it's got pretty much the same atmosphere, they figure out, but it's a long way away. And if it's got the same kind of atmosphere, then it's going to be, I mean, it's the chance of it not having anything, it depends how old it is, I guess. I mean, if you go back a certain amount of time, there wouldn't have been any humans around. I'm not quite sure how we really kind of evolved. Amoeba, wasn't it? Is that supposed to be an amoeba? We were originally fishes. I mean, we were all originally little fishes, weren't we, I suppose, technically. Little fishes swimming around in our daddies, yeah. So, I'd love it if there was aliens. Love. But then I look around the world and I think, they're here. There's aliens here already. The idea that, I mean, I personally would say that we were brought here by other, I think I was, but I would say probably the entire human race was brought here by another planet, or maybe numerous different planets, which would explain the differences between people. So, yeah, I'm going to go with 1,000,000%, but I'd say that we're already here. I mean, think about it, all these different countries, different languages, different looks, different physical characteristics, different ways of thinking, different religions, all this. I mean, yeah, it can all be put down, explained from a sociological aspect, but maybe we're just all aliens, and perhaps, I don't know, it's hard to say it without it sounding wrong, but I don't know, say like English people came from a planet that was full of super good looking people like me. I don't know, I'll make it up as I go along, but I'd love it if there was. Yeah, I'd love it. I'd absolutely love it if aliens, we got to see an alien. But I just want, I mean, let's say for argument's sake that we're not all aliens originally. Technically, to other worlds we will be aliens, so we are aliens. It's like we're all foreign, isn't we, to someone? So I'm thinking, yeah, it'd be really good as long as they're treated well, because, you know, the human, for some reason, there's this whole kind of human way of doing things and throughout history. So you can imagine an alien will come down in a spaceship, and maybe there's 50 aliens, and, you know, they'll be interrogated and they'll be like, oh, what are you doing here? Why are you here? Why are you coming to our world? You know, Earth first. You know, after a few years there'll be people with Earth first on their hats and make Earth great again. And if they're not treated well, then, you know, the first generation of aliens will kind of just like, well, just get on with it and But then a second generation of aliens that are born on Earth maybe start looking around and thinking, I don't like the way you treated my mummy and daddy and my 6 daddies and my 4 mummies with the 17 arms or whatever. You know, I don't know how old it'll be. And they'll be maybe not be happy, you know. And then a few generations later, like, who knows what's going to happen? So we have to treat them nicely. Whatever aliens come to this planet, as a world, we need to treat them really, genuinely need to treat them lovely, equally. You know, not treat them as entertainment and not treat them as second-class citizens. And I think we'll be okay. But, you know, are humans able to do that? I don't know. Because difference, that's the thing, isn't it? We don't like difference, do we? Us humans, us human beings. Oh, he's different. And it'll be weird as well, won't it? Because instead of having a different coloured skin or coming from a different country, it'll be like, he's got 9 eyes. He's a slug. That one's invisible. So yeah, it'd be weird. I think it'd be cool. Bring some aliens from another country, from another world rather. Bring some aliens from another world. Love it. As long as they don't want to eat us, I'll be fine. You know, mainly. I do wonder whether or not some of these alien crafts that are supposed to have landed and still top secret and supposedly were going to be released, all the files, and I don't remember seeing anything. Because if they have been released, the press in this country are not telling anyone. And it doesn't seem to be very prevalent on the internet. And so, but some of these technology that we have it seems to have got very advanced very quickly over the last 20 years. Also is it me, or the UFO sightings, as the phone quality on the quality of the cameras on phones has got better and clearer and more advanced, the worse the footage is of spaceships and UFOs and other flying things that we don't know what they are. Now that the quality is almost like, the quality on the phone is better than some movies 20 years ago, 30 years ago. I mean, you look at some of the movies from the 90s, which is only not that long ago, but the quality of the picture wasn't great compared to what it's like now. Maybe if you saw it in the cinema, that's different, but like on TV. And yet the quality of the spaceships that people are seeing is much worse. Makes you wonder, doesn't it? And beep beep beep. It's like Yeti and all those other things that used to be found. Now they're hardly ever seen. Now that everybody's got a camera on their phone. So, should you do a poll? You should do a poll to find out how many of your listeners are aliens. This is from Mike. I reckon all of us are aliens. I mean, technically we are all aliens compared to other worlds. So someone from Bibbly Bob Bom Bom Bum 1573 in solar system 739575, 200 million thousand light years away. To us, to them, we're aliens. But yeah, I mean, you think about it, Can you imagine what it was like for other countries when they saw the first person from another country, like from the other side of the world, appear? Must have freaked them out. Can you imagine, like, it must have been when the first, like, European people went to Africa, they must have thought they were seeing ghosts. What are these creatures? Why have they... What are they? Got to be weird. And remember, imagine people going over to places where they have big animals, like seeing crocodiles for the first time, or giraffe. Imagine, like, a Westerner seeing a giraffe for the very first time. That would be like seeing a dinosaur. It would be like seeing a UFO or an alien. Or an elephant. Imagine seeing an elephant for the first time, not knowing they existed. And just thought, oh, I might just pop on holiday to India. Thought I'd just pop on holiday for the weekend. And you didn't know. You paddled there in a canoe because there was no planes. And you didn't know that elephants existed. By the way, Vinny's chomping on a bone, in case you didn't know. And he started barking, so I had to get him something to distract himself with. A rhinoceros as well. It must have been weird. Or imagine in some countries where, I don't know, people are maybe more average, generally short, compared to a country maybe where people are more often taller. Because there are tall countries where people average on average are much taller, and some countries where people on average much shorter. So that would be weird for both sides to see, like, this person, like there's the shorter person looking up and seeing this giant for the first time. So being introduced to the giant, and then the tall person being introduced to the small person, looking around. Where are they? Who are you introducing me to? I'm down here. And imagine what it would be like seeing a really small person for the first time. It's weird, isn't it? It's like, even now, I think I've only seen dwarfs. I think that's the correct term now. Or is it little people? Dwarfs or little people? Smurfs. I can't call them Smurfs. But I forget what the name is. But I've only seen them once in real life, I think. Maybe outside of London. In London, you don't look at anyone anyway. So I probably saw a few of them. But I didn't see them because, you know, it's against the law to look at people in London. Can't look in people's eyes in London. Ooh, especially if you're on the tube. Oh, no, 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 no. I remember I was with a friend and she literally was rolling on the floor laughing at them. And I felt so embarrassed. I mean, they were just standing around her, like, wondering what was going on. I mean, she was on the floor. She was surrounded by these, like, dwarfs. I mean, there's probably about 300 of them. No, there wasn't that many. But it was, I'm not saying it was like Gulliver Travels, but it was just, they weren't happy. And I thought, come on, why you... I understand you can't help what you laugh at, but there's a certain... I don't know. There's a certain kind of just... you can't laugh at some. It seems wrong to be laughing at somebody that's very tiny or someone that's very, very tall. We notice it, and anyone that says they don't notice it are probably just fibbing. We notice it, of course we do. If I see someone that's 6'9" or 7'2", I notice, because it's unusual, it's rare to see someone that tall. If I see someone 3 foot tall, I notice it. I don't discriminate. I mean, I don't assume that the tall person plays basketball as a professional, and I don't assume that the short person works mainly at Christmas in Panto. I don't. I'm just saying that it's just accepting, but I do notice what's around. It's just, I don't notice. Like, yeah, you do. You know, people say, I don't notice what people look like. I don't know what colour their hair is. Never noticed. Like, yeah, you notice stuff. We all do. Or maybe we don't. Maybe I'm just the only one in the world that notices. See, noticing difference is part of the brain's activity process. We notice difference, and I think that's what's got us. That's what's helped us to survive so many millions of years, or depending on your faith, 2,500 years. So Ben asks me, so Jason, your wise words on the undercard and the main event. So this is what was the undercard? So this is the old Eubank. I'm pretty sure you're talking about the Eubank Ben. What was the undercard? I can't even remember. Eubank Ben. Eubank Ben. UK record undercard. Let's have a look. I can't remember what the undercard was. The undercard. Okay, I remember now. Chris Billam-Smith, Brandon Glanton. I watched that. Yeah, it was good, but I was just interested in the main one. My favourite fight out of the undercard was Liam Smith against Aaron McKenna, because Aaron McKenna is so good, and Liam Smith is really good, former world champion, and Aaron McKenna kind of basically, I'm not going to say he retired him, but he's sort of made himself, I would say, out of everyone on that card, he's the one that stood out most, apart from the main event. Anthony Yard, Lyndon Arthur 3. I mean, I think that Lyndon Arthur fought better, much better than he did in the second fight, because he got knocked out in the second one. Anthony Yard didn't seem to fight as well as he did in either the first or second, I don't think. I don't know, because Anthony Yard won the first one, and he did it was during lockdown, and he did it with his left hook. He basically won with his jab. But Lyndon Arthur won against Anthony Yard. Anthony Yard knocked him out in the second fight. I don't know, it was a good fight, but it was alright. But I think the Liam Smith, Aaron McKenna, for skill, phenomenal. So Aaron McKenna was the star of that night, other than the main event. I would argue that one. From the Anthony Yard, Lyndon Arthur, I never wanted to see a third fight. Definitely don't want to see a fourth, and I could have done without seeing the third, really. Didn't really want to see it. I guess I didn't have any interest. No offence, but Lyndon Arthur doesn't really, his style's not really, doesn't really get me going. Anthony Yard, on the other side, is really an exciting fighter, but he did look exciting. Lyndon Arthur kind of cancels him out, because they are, I would say Lyndon Arthur, I keep saying his name, I'd say Lyndon is possibly more skilled as a boxer, like pure boxing skill. He is extremely skilled, and he's got one heck of a left hook. It's really amazing. Anthony Yard is the overall package, and he's a much bigger puncher, more exciting, more explosive. But Lyndon took his punches, and he landed quite a few big ones on Arthur as well. Banged him a few times. So yeah, the main fight, if I was going to sum it up, I would say I would have given it as a draw, solely because they were both completely exhausted at the end of it. You know, they were gone on their feet, both of them. You know, if either of them in the last round, if either of them had been able to just replace themselves with the one that they were in the first round, so if the fresh Eubank had come in, Ben would have been knocked out, and if the fresh Ben had come in, Eubank would have got knocked out, because neither of them, I don't think they could have even stood up to the opposition version from 3 rounds earlier. They were so gone, and Eubank was in hospital from Friday night to Monday, or was it Saturday night till Monday? I forget. So yeah, I would say give it, just for the simple, I gave it everything, and nothing that Eubank threw at Ben phased him. He just bounced off him, and Ben hurt Eubank a few times. And there was always the excuse as well. He dropped the weight, and he didn't get dehydrated properly, and which I'm sure is probably a lot of it is true. But the most ferocious of the two was Ben. The one that seemed to want it most throughout most of the fight was Ben. Although Eubank, I would say, he showed he's never had to do that before. Neither of them have ever had to do what they did in that fight before. None of them. I mean, Eubank's really done some damage to a lot of fighters in the past. He hasn't been quite like that recently, but you know, in his early days, he was formidable force. I would say Ben, he's looked good in the ring in the past, but he never had to go into the trenches. That fight, I would say, is on par with Wardley, Frazier, the first one that they fought. It just everything. They just gave everything. And, you know, nobody, I don't think even non-boxing fans, someone that's just sitting there because it was on, and if they're not interested, then they're not interested, but they could even see that both boxers had given everything. I don't think anyone would be watching that and thinking at the end of it, what a rubbish fight. At least Eubank could have tried. At least Ben could have given it a go. Like, you know, there was no hiding, there was no running. It was okay. Eubank, he did step back quite a bit, but that's his style. He's more of he likes to counter attack, counter punch. But really good fight. Someone said, it's better than the first two Eubank Ben fights from the 90s. No. Sorry. No. It was different. It wasn't better than them. They weren't, I don't think. But then I haven't watched them recently. I watched them first time round, and no matter how much they bigged this fight up, how much they promoted it, I remember how big the Ben Eubank fights were. Like promotion, the way that it was the biggest thing on telly. There was probably 20 million people watched it on telly, live on ITV or BBC, wherever it was. I think it was ITV, might have been BBC, but you had probably 20 million people tuning in, which was a third of the population of the country back then, probably. If I put in how many people watched first Ben Eubank fights 1990s. Let's have a look. Okay, 16 million. So 1990, when they fought for the first time, was watched by 16 million people across the UK. Don't know about the second one. The second fight, okay, I don't know. I mean, Eubank, this is the first fight. Eubank was averaging 53 fights, 53 punches per round, and Ben 45. I mean, someone said that people ask, did Ben and Eubank have a fight? If you don't know the answer to that, you're not a boxing. Well, I don't know. You can't remember every single. I suppose people can't remember every single fight that ever happened in the past, can they? Someone who's like 20 may have never heard of Eubank Ben until recently, which is just fair enough, isn't it, I suppose. I mean, it is a long time ago. But they're legends. But then so is Felix Trinidad, so is Chavez, so is, I mean, so many. Michael Nunn, so many huge, big stars from like the 80s and the 90s that, how often are they mentioned? And they were, you know, I'm pretty sure even Golden Balls, whatever his name is, he was a superstar in America, but if it wasn't for the fact that he's now a promoter, would he be mentioned? How often is Mayweather even mentioned these days? And he was one of the biggest stars of all time. Well, of this kind of, you know, this generation or period, the last 30 years. Yet Muhammad Ali's never been forgotten. It's like that name's etched in the psyche of, I don't know what age group would know who he is, but anyone that shows an interest in boxing, they're going to hear the name Muhammad Ali at some point, especially if they're interested in boxing, like heavyweight boxing rather, because you can't have a serious discussion about heavyweight boxing history without mentioning Ali, because he was arguably the greatest. And it's not just everyone says it, but just watch his fights. He was phenomenal. Like, just phenomenal. There's phenomenal. There was so many that were phenomenal. But one of my favourites is Rocky Marciano, but that would have been the fight that I would choose. My fantasy heavyweight fight. I'm answering questions that aren't even being asked now. My fantasy heavyweight fight would be Rocky Marciano against Mike Tyson, both in their prime, because similar styles, both knockout artists. Rocky Marciano, arguably, I'm going to say arguably, but I'm just going to go based on what happened in the ring, physically tougher than Mike Tyson. Whether he hit harder than Mike Tyson, I don't know. I mean, I wouldn't put anyone against Tyson and like in his prime, except probably only 2 fighters would I put, no, 3 fighters I'd probably put against Mike Tyson in his prime, that I think would have, maybe 4, because I'm not sure if Mike Tyson would ever be able to beat Evander Holyfield, like in any, whether in the amateurs or well, maybe they did, no, different weight category, but I don't think even in his prime, I don't think Mike Tyson would have been able to beat Evander Holyfield, because they were wrong, made wrong for each other, and Holyfield was the better boxer. It just was superior boxer, superior in that way, and he was just so tough. I'd have loved to have seen Riddick Bowe and Mike Tyson. That would have been a really good fight. I'd love to have seen that. Riddick Bowe and Lennox Lewis, of course. So we missed out on some fights that should have happened, but didn't. And I don't know why they don't just fight. Like, if it was now, with Dubai involved and stuff, guaranteed, first of all, let's have a look. What was I going to say? Wait a second, sorry, I'm distracted. Something's just distracted me. Yeah, I think with the Sheikh in Dubai, with all the big fights they're putting on, if Mike Tyson was around now, like in his prime, there would have been an instant rematch with Buster Douglas, and he'd have beaten Buster Douglas the second time, so he'd have won all his titles back straight away. And it's ridiculous that didn't happen. There was no reason for it not to happen. And Buster Douglas was literally there to be knocked out by whoever was there. It's like he didn't even care. He was getting the biggest paycheck of his life, and it's almost like he didn't even train. But Mike Tyson, it would have been finished in the first round. So why? Weird. And it kind of always politics and money talks, and Mike Tyson was the biggest boxing attraction in the world, and he was worldwide famous. It wasn't just in America. Every country wanted him to fight. There was no shortage of money. He was making more money 30 years ago, 40 years ago in fact. He was making more money 38 years ago than the heavyweight champions are now, because he was so popular worldwide. People were watching him, millions and millions and millions and millions of people from all around the world watching him. Anyway, stop talking about that. So yeah, that would have been good. I'd have liked to watch some of that, but I think the main event was really good. I enjoyed it. Other than really the Liam Smith one, I kind of lost a little bit of interest in the other cards, the other fights, because I was a little bit tired, to be honest with you. But once that one started, the Eubank Ben, I was definitely not tired during that. That was great. Really liked it. Christine asks, did you agree with the winner of Big Brother? This is going to be controversial, but I predicted that. from an emotional, well, not my emotional, but from an emotional perspective, from people viewing, I would get, and apparently the odds was that Jojo or Danny was going to win, and that seemed quite obvious. Right from the start I thought Danny or Jojo. Danny's a big character and really, good TV. Jojo, another big character, seems like a really nice person, genuinely nice person, and also I knew that she was well known. I didn't know how well known she was. I mean, she's got a video on YouTube. I think she's got like 20 million. Let me just check this without giving you the wrong information. So let's have a look. Jojo Siwawi. Is it Jojo Siwa? Jojo Siwa. Let's have a look. Right. Jojo Siwa. Right. 505,000 subscribers. Now I know this isn't right because I saw her on another one. I think, or maybe I got it wrong. Evolution. That's weird. The Evolution of Jojo Siwa. I saw a video that she did when she was a kid. 1 billion views on YouTube. 1 billion. I mean, oh yeah, okay. That's really weird. So she's got one. All of her videos are millions. Like millions of views. I mean, that's. But then her channel's got 505,000 subscribers. I'm sure she had about 20 million subscribers. I'm confused now. Maybe it was just on a. That has confused me. I mean, it doesn't take much, but that's very weird. Videos. There was a popular video. It was 1 billion views, but it's not on this channel. 1.1 million, 3.6 million. I mean, literally, she had a 1 billion views, and it's her when she was a kid. So there is another website, another YouTube channel, Jojo, and it's her when she was. It's mainly her when she was doing kids stuff like dancing and stuff like that. Because that's what I found. I was looking. I was thinking, why is there nothing of her when she was old? Not older, but older. Why is it just all kids stuff? And that's why I didn't quite understand. But okay, Jojo Siwa, 12.1 million subscribers. So it's the same, but it's just a different YouTube channel. And if it goes for videos, if I go click on videos, popular, Jojo Siwa Boomerang official video, 8 years ago, 1 billion views. Jojo Siwa kid in a candy store. So she's a kid in these. Official video, 7 years ago, 284 million. And then you got one from 6 years ago, Dream, or DREAM, 230 million. I mean, it's 53, 46 million, 42. Every single video that is, and it's weird because some of these she's really young. I mean, she looks about 5, but 8 years ago, 22 million, 20 million. It's just strange. I didn't know who she was, and my friend said, oh, she was a dancer. A dancer? He Says he was one of them shows where the parents push their kids to dance. Is it Dancing Mums or something like that? And I've only ever seen clips. It's not really my kind of thing that I watch. But apparently she was one of the stars of that. So yeah. So I didn't know all that, but I could see that she was popular with the audience that was turning up at Big Brother. And Big Brother has turned into... They seem to be catering for LGBTQ audience, which is fine, but they seem to forget that probably a larger portion of the audience it's just whoever likes Big Brother. I don't think people watch Big Brother based on their personal preference of partner or lifestyle. Or whatever, it's really... he's trying to find a fly. He's chased a fly. See, I don't watch Big Brother because it's got people on there that I relate to at all. I mean, I don't want to see people that I relate to on Big Brother. I want to see people that are strange and weird. I don't want to see normal people like me. Yeah, okay. It's entertainment, so I'm quite happy to see whoever's on there. But they got become very I don't want to use the word woke because that's used as an insult now, and I don't want to be insulting. But it's, well, you shouldn't have said it then. No, I'm just saying that's kind of the words that are used about this kind of thing. But I don't use that word. Very censored. That's probably another word. Very censored. When the humour's kind of lost a bit, where there was one thing, I can't remember. It was... Yeah, I think it was one of the interviews in the final, and one of them made fun of the appearance of someone, but it was something that even the person, I don't know, it was kind of a topic of conversation in a way, but straight away the host said nope. And I remember a similar thing happened years ago where there was a contestant and he had this really strange hairstyle, like really strange. It was almost jet black and stuck down, like with probably, I don't know, Brill cream maybe, I don't know. And someone came off, they did the interview and they talked, or no, it's someone in the audience when they did the after show thing, talking about him having Lego hair. And it was hilarious because he did look like a Lego character, because you can click the hair on, can't you, or the head on, or when I was a kid. And it was funny, but the host said, no, we don't make fun of people's appearances. But it wasn't cruel, really, because if someone chooses to look like that, that's on them, isn't it? It's not really... If I walk around with a seagull's nest on my head and I wear an apron cut out so everyone can see my boobies and my belly button, and for some reason I'm wearing flippers, someone's going to notice and someone's probably going to say something, and that's kind of... I don't have to have all that stuff on. I don't, if I dyed my hair black when I don't have black... Well, I don't have black hair to start with. I had brown hair, but it's a little bit slightly blonde. There's some blonde bits now. If I dye my hair black, jet black, people are going to look. Anyone that's seen me before are going to laugh at me to my face. That's a guaranteed, and I'd expect that, and I'd be fine with that, because that's what's going to happen. Anyone that doesn't know me, that's seen me before, is going to be like, really? What's going on? And even anyone that hasn't seen me before can tell that I'm not 25, because I don't look 25, and the chances of someone with my face having jet black hair is, I mean, it can happen. I'm not saying it doesn't happen, but it's rare. You know, some people are lucky and they've got dark hair, or they got no, not dark hair, but they've got no greys or very little grey at all. Right until they're like 70 or 80, and it's brilliant, good for them. But jet black, you know, that's kind of, it stands out a bit. And all I'm trying to say is they weren't being rude. They were just, it was a funny comment about a funny character that was in the show. It wasn't like a horrible comment, and it was, you know, it wasn't rude, and it wasn't based upon someone's health condition or anything like that. It was just a silly remark, which was funny, but like, no, you can't say that. So it's, I kind of understand it. I mean, you know, I had people try and say rude things to me when I was younger. I suppose everyone has, haven't they? I remember I had some new shoes once, and they were, I liked them, right, because they were quite high up. So they had quite a big, not a mattress, a sole. So I was taller, and at that age, that's all I really wanted. I was assuming that everything else would kind of sort itself out, that those parts that hadn't really grown properly were going to grow to a normal length. I was wrong, but, you know, I was confident back then. But as far as height-wise, you know, I was always pretty short. This gave me a little bit, an extra inch probably. Oh, it was lovely. Or was it 3 inches? It was, yeah, I definitely, but I didn't realise it stood out. And people were just like laughing at me, calling me, what, Beetle Crusher. Look, it's Beetle Crusher. So they decided that that's what I was wearing. I was wearing beetle crushers. I could crush beetles, and like, it's Beetle Crusher. It's Stilt Man. I mean, they didn't look like stilts at all, but they definitely did have a nice thick, maybe about 5 inches. But, you know, it was nice. I felt tall, or at least I felt taller, and that was all that really mattered back then. But kids can be so cruel sometimes. I remember they used to make fun of my name. Like, I called New Zealand Lamb, because that was a big, I was on the TV a lot, adverts for New Zealand Lamb, because my name was Newland. New Zealand Lamb, New Zealand, and I just keep repeating it, New Zealand Lamb. Like, that's not even funny, really. It's not even clever. But then there was the Roland, which was on Grange Hill. I mentioned this before. There was a character that used to go around following this young, another kid on Grange Hill. It was a sort of school program, and she kept saying, Roland, Roland, I want to help you, Roland. And because she kept pronouncing his name Roland, and she said his name probably 3 times in every sentence, just kept saying his name, And someone cottoned onto that and came in one day and said, Newland, Newland, I want to help you, Newland. And that caught on for about a week until they found something else to be distracted by. Newland, Newland, I want to help you, Newland. Where are you going, Newland? Which is weird that I actually pronounce my name Newland now, because obviously back then it was Newland. It's like, why do you pronounce your name Newland then? I do it like that because so people know how to spell it. That's the only reason. JasonNewland.com, so people didn't say Newland, put in NEWLUND.com, so they put in Newland, LAND.com. And also it's not really an issue back then because didn't used to do it, but with when you get transcriptions, if you say Newland, it will come up. If you say Newland, it will come up NEWLUND. Okay, that's my excuse. Newland, I want to help you, Newland. It really annoyed me for a while. It did. I think that's all. There might have been more questions. I don't know. I didn't know. I've ordered some, so I've got the delivery coming. They're taking a long time. They're supposed to be here by 9 o'clock. It's now 9:15, and they ain't nowhere to be seen. Still wrapping up at this. Oh well, don't matter. It don't really matter, do it? The boxing's on at 10:30. Oh, so excited! I'm excited. I just can't hide it. Oh, it's so good. So tonight, the boxing is on. Let me just go to DAZN. Okay, now in fact, I won't go boxing schedule because I don't know what the undercard, the complete undercard is. So in Times Square, it starts at 5 p.m. Friday in American time, which is 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Was that 11 o'clock UK time? But I think the show starts at 10:30 UK time. So the main event should start around 2:30. So I'm just going to have a late night, so that's fine. I'll try to get a bit of sleep during the day. So Ryan Garcia and Roland Romero, I didn't know it was Rolando, I know Romero. So they're fighting. That's the headliner, which is weird because Teofimo Lopez versus Arnold Barboza. Teofimo Lopez is the only world champion on the bill, but he's listed third behind Devin Haney and Jose Ramirez. So I find that unusual that Teofimo Lopez, former undisputed world champion and also world champion, like again, he should have been Teofimo Lopez. Okay, let me just go through this. I'm going to just go through a little bit of history here. Because I remember, but he should really have been undisputed twice, and here's why. Let me just go through his resume. So he was undisputed WBA, WBO. Oh, wait a minute. Teofimo won the IBF lightweight title 2019. He won the WBA, WBO ring lightweight title. So WBO. So he didn't have the WBC. So he's unified, but he wasn't the complete. Oh, that doesn't seem right. WBC. So who held the WBC then? Well, anyway, so he lost his title to George Kambosos Jr. and then he regained. He won the WBO and Ring light welterweight titles from Josh Taylor. But Josh Taylor, right, before he fought Teofimo Lopez, oh blimey, what are you doing? Before he did that, he had just retained the WBA Super, WBC, IBF and WBO. So he'd retained all of those titles. And that was to Jack Catterall, right? February 2022. The following June, he'd given up all of those titles except the WBO and the Ring light welterweight. So he'd given up the WBO, WBC and the IBF. He'd given up all of those belts. So Teofimo Lopez should have been the unified world title holder, world champion twice. But he didn't, because Josh Taylor gave up all those titles. I don't quite know why. I don't know what the reason was for it. So who are we going? Teofimo Lopez, Josh Taylor. Okay. Oh, come on. So, right, anyway, so I want to look at the undercard for this bout card. So according to this, there's 3 fights, which is fine. I'm 3's enough. Blimey. It's 3 really big fights. So Teofimo Lopez, Devin Haney and Ryan Garcia all fighting. I thought there might be like another, maybe there was a before the bell thing, but they're literally closing off Times Square in New York. But there's no live audience, like public audience. It's pay-per-view, you can watch it on TV, but you can't, only people are invited to go and watch it, ringside, which will, I'm guessing, other than the boxers and the trainers, the promoters will be famous celebrities. So yeah, that's kind of a very unusual thing to do. And then tomorrow, wow, tomorrow, right, Saturday, so Saturday night, Canelo is fighting William Skull. Martin Bakole is fighting Efa Ajagba. Jamie Mungui, who's one of my favourite fighters, he actually got knocked out by Bruno Souris a few months back. So and he was unbeaten. I thought, well, not unbeatable, because Canelo beat him, but they went the distance. But he just seemed like, I was just so surprised he got beaten, got knocked out. So he's got a rematch there. And Badu Jack's fighting. So that's a really good bill. So that's tomorrow night. Saturday night. And then Sunday, Inouye's fighting. But that's in Las Vegas. Could normally fights in Japan. So I don't know where it's going to be. As in, where are they showing it? Brought to you by ESPN. So is that on Sky? Sky Sports. Sky Sports. Let's have a look for boxing. Grows live on Sky. Okay, should be a sports. Let's go boxing. Schedule 5th of May, Inui, yeah. So it's on. Why doesn't it say what time? It's Monday, the 5th of May. Oh, okay. So 3rd, 5th. Okay, if we go back, 2nd today, isn't it? Right, fair enough. 2nd today, 3rd, and 4th. All right. So it is the 4th, but it's early hours on Monday morning. So early hours tonight, then Sunday. So it's 3 nights in a row the boxing's on. Big fights. Like Inui is pound for pound a superstar. I mean, the bill's not as big as the other two, but he's still, he can't, as a boxing fan, can't not watch him because he is just phenomenal. And blimey, what other fights am I looking forward to? Just having a look. Other fights. Probably Johnny Fisher, Dave Allen, which is the 17th of May. So that's a rematch. I'm looking forward to that one. I watch Caleb Plant. I'll always watch him fight because I like him. Jamal Charlo's fighting as well. Fabio Wardley, June the 7th. Justice Hooney, so that's been changed. He was supposed to be fighting Big Baby Miller, but Miller pulled out. I think he was just annoyed that there was no food in the ring to eat at in between rounds. Wasn't allowed to have a meal between rounds. Jay Apatow, June the 8th. Watch that. Deontay Wilder, Friday 27th. So I watched that, but I'll kind of. Shakur Stevenson, that's July the 12th. July 19th, Usyk against Daniel Dubois. So yeah, but that's it. So thank you. Thank you for listening. Remember to be kind to yourself because you deserve to be happy. Be gentle with yourself because you deserve to feel safe. Lots of love. Bye.